July 13th, 2013 at about 4 o'clock, and we're sitting with Harry Dunn. All right. So, yeah, if you don't mind just telling us a little bit about your background and where you're from.
Yeah, I was born in Great Lakes, Illinois.
Okay.
My dad was in the Navy for 24 years, so we went back and forth from the East Coast to the West Coast several times. Settled in San Diego, and then his ship went up to Long Beach, and we moved to Westminster, California.
Right.
In about 1954.
Okay.
So I grew up in Southern California.
Right. Okay. So you grew up throughout schooling, through high school and everything?
High school and college.
Okay. And where'd you go to?
West Coast College.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, and Fullerton JC.
And Fullerton, yeah. I used to, I did community college advising for Cal State Long Beach.
Okay.
And that was one of my schools I go to.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. That's awesome. All right. And then what did you do after college then?
I joined the Forest Service.
Okay.
Went to work for the U.S. Forest Service.
Okay.
I was with them for about 6 years. Quit them because I got tired of the government. And then I went to work for a lumber yard. Oh no, yeah. We went from. See, I got my degree in forestry of College of the Redwoods in Humboldt State.
Right.
Out of Eureka.
Right.
And then I went to work for the Forest Service there.
Huh. And
then we moved from there to McKenzie Bridge, Oregon.
Okay.
Which is just just east of Eugene.
Okay.
I was there for a little over a year. Then we moved to Silver Lake, Oregon with the Forest Service.
Mm-hmm.
We were there for about 5 years in the Forest Service.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I quit the Forest Service.
Okay.
Then I went to work for a lumber mill
Mm-hmm.
in Baker, Oregon,
Mm-hmm.
which is in Easton, Oregon.
Right.
And they went out, that's when they had the big bust on lumber.
Mm-hmm.
So then we moved from there to here. We moved here in 1980.
Mary to Craig. All right. And was there something specific that
We
brought
went to
you?
work at the power plant.
Power plant. Okay. So you came in
1980.
right after or during the bust? Oh, I'm sorry, the boom. The boom.
Yeah, we were right here, just at the tail end of the boom.
Tail end of the boom. Okay. And what were your first impressions of Craig, having been all over everywhere else?
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, we came over coming from the west, we came down that hill there by Ridgeview and all that. And just got done raining. We didn't know where we were going, what we were doing. Had a job.
Right.
I came out from Oregon. I hitchhiked out from Oregon to find the job because her cousin told me about Colorado Ute. It wasn't Tri-State, it was Colorado Ute.
Oh, okay.
And so I got a job here, and then I went back to Oregon, and then we moved back here in September of 1980.
Okay. Okay.
But it looked just like any other town.
Really?
Yeah.
So it wasn't exceptionally small? It wouldn't...
Not really, because Baker wasn't that big.
Oh, okay.
Baker, Oregon's not that big.
Right.
And we lived in the country before, Northern California.
Oh, okay. So you weren't unused to the environment.
No, the environment
It was right in. Okay.
Yeah.
What were the people like?
They're friendly for the most part.
Friendly.
Yeah, they're pretty friendly.
I've heard. I need to share this with you too. I've heard in interviewing a few people that during the boom, when the power plant was coming in, when a lot of the construction workers were here, Craig was pretty rough, and there were a lot of rough crowds.
There were. I mean, there were several bars here, and they were always having fights in the bars.
Oh man.
I didn't frequent the bars anyway.
Right.
So.
Right.
No, it didn't bother me any.
Okay.
We were going to the Nazarene Church when it was here. It's no longer here.
Okay.
And no, I didn't know. I mean, I hear tales.
Right.
Fights and all the different bars and stuff.
Right.
Didn't affect my lifestyle.
Right. So overall, for you, Craig was a pretty family-friendly area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seemed to be.
Okay. Yeah. And what was the power plant like? Working there, the environment, what was it like?
The environment, well, see, when it was Colorado Ute, it was still kind of a small organization. So the management seemed to be a little friendlier.
Okay.
And then as it continued to grow, it came to be, well, It was all right to work there, but it wasn't what it was the first 5 years.
Okay.
It changed.
What specifically changed?
Just the way they treated their people.
Okay.
Mainly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you became more of a number than a name.
Right.
You know,
I see.
as long as you were there doing your job, they were happy, and
Right.
they didn't put the care into their people.
Okay. Okay. And what specifically were you doing when you started?
When I first started, I was a utility worker.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with the different mechanics.
Oh, okay.
You know, helping the mechanics and that kind of stuff. I did that for about a year. And in that year, I was also worked under a guy that was in charge of all the fire protection up there.
Oh.
So
Okay.
I got a lot of the groundwork done for that.
Right.
Fire protection, you know, just
internal fires in the power plant itself.
Well, they weren't the fire, but the protection equipment.
Okay.
You know, the halon, the dry pipe, the wet pipe, you know, all your sprinkler systems.
Right.
I did all that.
Oh, okay.
And then from there I went to operations,
Okay.
which is in charge of all the operating equipment.
Wow.
I was a floor operator for basically 30 years
Wow.
up there on the floor.
And so I know that I can't always remember the exact sequence. I know that it kind of changed hands of who was managing over the...
It was Colorado U at first,
Uh-huh.
and then it went to Tri-State Generation
Oh, okay.
because Colorado U went bankrupt.
Oh, okay. So the Tri-State just came in and bought it out.
Bought it out.
Okay.
Right.
And that's when that change happened that you're talking about with the management.
With management, right.
Did you see any other dramatic changes in policy, safety
Not
regulations?
dramatic, no. They kind of pushed safety a little bit stronger. And as far as, it was, you know, same company, different people,
Right.
you know, and they would always, the first supervisor we had, all of them came from Hayden Station,
Okay.
because that was Colorado U.
Right.
But XL got that in the bankruptcy.
Oh, okay.
Most of those supervisors worked over there as, you know, plant operators, EOs, AOs, equipment operators,
Right.
board operators,
Right.
and most of our supervisors were from there,
Okay.
over to Hayden, came from Hayden plant.
Right.
And you could see them fading out,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because they were an older generation.
Right.
And then they started promoting from within. But the ironic thing, now this is just my opinion and opinion of a lot of people,
Right.
they would promote people from within that weren't the best supervisors.
Oh, right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of them, they wouldn't do their jobs
Mm-hmm.
like they should have been.
Right.
They caused problems,
Mm-hmm.
and they would promote those people into supervision.
Interesting. And would that create problems for everyone underneath?
Yeah, it did.
Right.
It did.
Any substantial problems?
Because they forgot where they came from.
Right.
They wouldn't cut any slack to the people that they basically grew up with in the power plant.
Right.
You know, I mean, they were all right. There were a few of them that were okay, but we had some pretty lousy supervision up there too.
Interesting. Were there with
and
all?
and see, I was a supervisor with the Forest Service.
Mhm.
I had a crew of 22 people.
Right.
During the summer, during the winter, I had a crew of 6 sometimes, and their supervisory skills were not that well.
Right.
And they weren't that good.
Interesting. And was there any backlash for any of that? I mean, did the workers really go against this lack of supervision?
No, not really.
Just kind of rolled off
I
the
mean, we always had supervision, but I mean, we didn't have to be supervised everything we did. We knew our job,
Mm-hmm.
and they expected to do our job,
Mhm.
so we just went and did what we were supposed to do.
Right. Wow.
You know.
So
When we were trained, I mean, they did really train their operators. They put a lot of training into it.
right.
Classroom training, not so much on the job training because they expected you to just pick it up.
Okay.
But the classroom training, we got a lot of classroom training.
Everyone.
Well, not the mechanics so much because I wasn't a mechanic, but
Right.
they started training the mechanics later down the road.
Oh, okay.
They put all their training into the operations.
Right. Interesting.
I did get a lot of operations training.
Okay.
And it was alright.
Right.
A lot of it I couldn't put to use because, you know,
Yeah.
most of it was, you know, you kind of had to learn as you went. Or
Right.
you'd ask somebody that was already been an operator before you, like, okay, what do I do in this situation? Can you give me a hand to do this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they expected a lot out of the new operators.
Right, right. So, I mean, overall, aside from little classes or things that might have come up, there weren't a lot of changes
No.
over the years.
No.
So it's pretty steady. But I'm assuming over
There was a
that.
lot of politics.
Yeah,
Politics went
of
on all
course.
the time,
But
like any job.
Is there anything specifically important with the politics?
The only thing is, again, in their promotions, it's who you knew.
Right, right,
They'd promote their friends.
right.
They would get promoted, and then they would...
And that
people would-
continued.
Yeah, that continued. And they would bring in their buddies.
Mm-hmm.
Because they passed people over that were more qualified than the people that they got the jobs.
Right.
They
That's
passed them over.
unfortunate.
You know.
Yeah. Along with that, how did the, I guess, increase in technology and capabilities of machines and whatnot, did that affect the power plant at all?
They did on the board,
Mm-hmm.
the control rooms.
Oh, right.
On the floor per se, not really. I mean, we started out with taking paper readings, you know, doing them on a clipboard,
Right.
and that went to scanners,
Mm.
and then they changed the different programs in the scanners 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
You'd go, they'd have a barcode on a piece of equipment, and
Mm.
we'd scan that barcode, and then we'd punch in the information instead of writing it down. Then we'd take it to the computer and download it. I mean, when I first hired on, I mean, I've always been relative computer illiterate, but I figured I'd never touch my job up there,
Okay.
and it did.
All right.
Because everything, you'd go out, scan the equipment,
Mm.
put in the information, you know, temperatures, pressures,
Right.
general appearance of the condition of the equipment.
Right.
You know, your pumps, your motors, stuff like that.
And it made it more efficient? I mean, was it user-friendly? Not really.
It was user-friendly, but I don't think it was more efficient.
Okay.
I mean, it got rid of the paper.
Right.
I mean, it was paperless,
Right.
but no, it wasn't. I don't think it was more efficient.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Just continuing on the power plant a little more. I've talked to some people that have worked with the Trapper Mine, and just one person that's worked with the power plant before. Did you see any major accidents that you're allowed to speak of? They didn't give me too many details before because they weren't sure what they were allowed to disclose. Did you see anything like that?
There were a couple. I'm trying to remember. There was nobody really per se got hurt, which is amazing.
Right.
Because I've seen, you know, have you been out in the power plant yet?
No, not yet.
You should get up there and go, especially go through where the pulverizers are, because the coal goes into the pulverizers. It's ground up baby powder fine.
Wow.
And I mean baby powder fine.
Yeah.
Finer.
Yeah.
And then that in turn is blown by PA fans into the boiler. And if the conditions aren't right, the board operator or the equipment, you know, because everything's computerized.
Right.
If something, you get a wrong mixture, too much air, not enough air, something, you can have an explosion within that mill.
Wow.
Yeah. And I know one time a mill blew up, and if a person had been where they were supposed to be, it would have killed them.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. It blew up that bad. It blew the whole... Didn't blow the mill up so much, but the PA fan, which are massive.
Right.
I mean, they run by 6.9 kV motors. You know, I mean, they're huge. It just opened it up like a can.
Wow.
It just blew it apart. And then another time, another guy was down in the mill bay, but he was in the right spot, and it blew up. And we had a heck of a time finding it. He didn't get hurt. I mean, not really, but he could have been killed.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, while I worked there, that's been 5 years, 6 years ago, 5 years ago.
Right.
There's been no fatalities.
Wow. So it's a obviously a safe operation.
Yeah.
It's been
I mean, there's potential,
right.
for it, but nobody, compared to a lot of power plants where there's been fatalities, they've never had one up there.
Wow. That's crazy. That's really cool.
The worst accident that I can remember is a machinist had a lathe going, or a lathe was going in the machine shop,
Right.
and they were told over and over again that you need to put a guard on it, or around it, and machinists, I can't remember all the details. Anyhow, he ended up walking into the lathe and took all his fingers off.
Wow.
I mean, even his thumb. Because they had to end up taking his big toe and sewing it on his thumb.
Wow.
So that's the worst one that I knew of.
Yeah. And
they were aware of the problem, but they just neglected to do anything about it. Of course, after that, then they took care of the problem.
Right. And even more safety regulations, I'm sure.
Right.
Okay. Safe operation.
Yeah, it's
That's what I've heard.
I mean, I had some
it's
close
very,
calls,
very
different things, but
right.
In general, it was a safe place to work.
Okay.
I mean, they were, and as time went by, they kept improving their safety standards.
Right.
You know.
Right. Wow. Have there ever been any? I don't know how to really phrase it.
Over at Hayden Station, there was a fatality.
At Hayden, there was, but
Yeah.
here, no.
No.
Is it the same company?
It was at the time.
It was at the time, but not now.
Not now.
Okay.
That's when Colorado U had it.
All right.
But no, it was a safe place to work.
Right. Was there ever a lull in production? Was there ever a slow time, layoffs, anything like that?
We did have one layoff when the demand wasn't bad. I mean, there was a high demand for power.
Right.
They did a layoff, which was, and I think they also tried to show the other participants in Tri-State that they were cutting the budget. So they laid a bunch of people off, and a year later they brought most of them back.
Okay.
Same people.
Right.
They were just, it was a political thing.
Right.
There wasn't any need for it.
Wow. Is it unionized?
Yeah, it's union.
Oh,
yeah. I wouldn't work up there without it. No.
So very pro-union.
Very pro-union. Or it was.
What? It's not...
I don't know if it is now.
Oh, okay.
Because I've been out of it.
Right.
5 years.
But it was very...
Very pro-union.
And
it had to be.
Right.
Because of the management.
Right.
I mean, the first 5 or 6 years, that's about the first 6 years I worked there, they treated their management like dirt.
Wow.
They cut numerous managers and just got rid of them.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, you wouldn't want to be a manager up there.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, a lot of guys did, but no.
So, an effective union at that.
Yeah, very effective union.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the name of the union?
IBEW.
IBEW?
IBEW.
Okay. I'll put that down, actually.
I can't remember the local number.
No problem. IBEW is the union.
Right.
That's good to know. All right. Sorry. For Craig in general, if we can kind of just switch, if that's okay.
Sure.
When you first came here, family-oriented and whatnot.
People were friendly.
Right. Yeah. And what would you do outside of work when you first came?
When we first came, we came in to Craig. We didn't have a whole lot of money because I've been out of work for over a year. But after that, we did a lot of. The job afforded us to do a lot of traveling.
Oh, okay.
We'd go over to. Did a lot of hiking over in Moab.
Oh, okay. In Utah.
And we did some camping out in Browns Park.
Okay.
Later on, the job afforded me to get into mountaineering. Did a lot of mountaineering.
Wow. Where would you go for that?
Over to the Front Range.
Oh.
Over around Boulder,
right.
That area. And from there, I did climb Europe's highest peak.
Wow. Wow.
It was in Russia.
Uh-huh.
So afforded me to become a pilot and fly an aircraft. Fly a plane.
Right.
So.
Where do you still own that?
No, I got rid of it.
Okay.
I got rid of the plane.
Where did you house it?
I had it right here at Craig.
Oh, in the airport.
Craig Airport.
Okay.
Right. But we did a lot. We went to Arches National Park a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Went up to Yellowstone a lot, Yellowstone National Park. Went over to Rocky Mountain National Park.
Mm-hmm.
We did a lot of hiking.
Right.
Up in Black Mountain, we did a lot of hiking. Over in Steamboat.
Okay.
Went up to Rabbit Ears in that area.
Right.
A lot of hiking. A lot of hiking and camping.
Okay. Any?
I kept my sanity.
Yeah. No, that sounds great.
Because see, when I first started there, we were on 3 8-hour shifts. We'd rotate every week.
Uh-huh.
And when we first started, it was really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I worked up there 8 or 10 years, and they went to 12-hour shifts.
Oh, wow.
Which really was a lot nicer.
Really?
Oh yeah, because we'd work like 3 days, have 3 days off.
Oh, I see.
Work 4 days, have 4 days off, and do that on nights as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd have a 6-day long change.
Right.
Once a month. So we only worked 14 days a month.
Wow.
So
I'm sure the labor was hard, but
it was.
Right. But the hours were better.
But the hours were a lot better when they went to 12-hour shifts.
Is that something that the workers wanted? Is that something you fought for?
Yeah, we wanted it.
Oh, okay.
Because otherwise, you could never get a rhythm going.
Right.
Or constantly, I mean, you don't
With the 8 hours?
With the 8-hour shifts, you could never, you never had any time off, because your days off, you spent recouping.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I'd come off graveyards, it'd take me a day and a half, and another day I'd be back to work.
Wow.
And like when we were working 12-hour shifts, I'd work 4 nights, but then I'd have 4 days off.
Right.
After the 4 nights.
Right.
So the first day I'd spend recouping, psychologically and mentally and physically, and I'd still have 3 days to do something.
Right.
And then, like I said, once a month I'd have 6 days off.
And when did that start? Do you remember around the time?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just wondering.
But it was a whole lot better.
And it maintained that
12-hour shifts.
12-hour shifts.
Right.
Oh, for the rest of the time you're there.
Right.
Okay. Wow.
I think it was like, I probably worked 8-hour shifts for like 7, 8 years.
Okay. Oh, so the vast majority was
12-hour shifts.
Okay.
Right.
It's a lot of time for traveling.
Right.
Do you ever do any hunting and fishing?
I did some hunting, archery hunting.
Where would you go for that?
I went down on the White River, just south of here.
Okay.
And then up on Black Mountain.
Oh.
Did archery hunting.
And archery hunting specifically.
Okay. Right.
And if you don't mind, what would you hunt for?
For deer.
For deer.
Deer. I didn't go elk hunting.
Deer. Okay. Wow.
I just got tired of it.
Yeah. No.
Also, I got into horses.
Horses.
I worked for an outfitter. Being a guide and wrangler for an outfitter for 3 or 4 years.
What was that like?
It's nice. It's good. And I got tired of that because it started to become too much like work.
Right.
And then I started my own packing business with a horse. I'd go up on Black Mountain and pack game out.
Oh, wow.
For the hunters.
Right.
I did that for about 3 years, and I got tired of that. I got to be too much like work.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's good to have the change.
Yeah.
It's a constant change.
It was a good experience.
Right.
I learned how to.
Interesting.
I worked on some ranches around here. Because when I lived in Oregon, I did a lot of cowboying, ranch work. So.
Quite a bit of work on ranches out here. Okay.
Not a lot here, but mainly in Oregon.
Right.
But I had the experience when I came here.
Okay. And how have you seen Craig in general develop since you got here in the 80s?
It's expanded some. I mean, there was a Kmart here.
When you came, there was
a small Kmart here. You know where Murdoch's
here? Yeah.
That's where Kmart was.
Oh, okay.
And then they built a new building.
Down the road a little bit.
Down the road. Yeah. And then Walmart came in. McDonald's was here. Burger King was here.
Oh, wow.
City Market was here. Safeway was here.
So by the 80s, all of that had already been firmly established.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it came later. Okay.
No.
That's good to know.
Walmart came in here. Walgreens came in here just recently. The last 10 years.
Both of those.
Both of those.
Right. So
Murdoch's.
Were the smaller businesses
So there were
still
a
here?
lot. Yeah, there were a lot of. It was really kind of nice because downtown Main Street, there were like, I think there were like 4 shoe stores.
4 shoe stores.
Shoe stores. It's
Wow.
all sold shoes.
Uh-huh.
There was a lady shop, a men's store, a drug store. So that was kind of nice.
Yeah.
And then Kmart and kind of forced those out.
Right.
But when we first came here, all that was still here.
Okay. How long did it? You remember how long it lasted before it started to disappear? Any of them or all of them in general?
I'm guessing 5 or 6 years.
Wow. So not too long.
Not too, no, they didn't last very long.
Right. Big business.
Big business ran them out.
Hmm. When did were all the car dealerships here? Because aren't there 3 here now?
Yeah, Victory Motors was here, Ford was here, and Chevy Subaru was here. They were all here.
Oh, okay. And they've maintained.
They've maintained.
Wow. All right. So the boom was basically over when you got here. Big business has been established and didn't really grow that much then since you came.
No.
I mean, with just Walgreens and Walmart coming in.
That's all that came in.
Right.
Because McDonald's, Wendy's came in.
Oh, okay.
Taco Bell came in.
Mhm.
Because they weren't here.
Some smaller ones.
Right.
Right.
So
So.
the 2 big ones was Walgreens and Walmart.
Mhm. Mhm. And did your children go to school here?
They did.
All of it, or most
yeah,
of it?
right, all of it.
And what do you remember school being like?
It was a good school system.
Okay.
It was a good school system.
Mhm. It wasn't. Let's see. How do I put this? Someone said that there was a lot of school spirit here. A lot of spirit, especially for the high school.
There were.
60s, 70s, and they were still there.
They were still there.
Okay.
High school.
What years did they graduate?
I can't remember.
Okay. Just wondering. Just to.
Well, there was still a
kind of
lot of
hallmark.
school spirit here.
Oh, okay.
As far as now, I couldn't tell you.
What would they do for fun?
They were in sports.
Sports.
They
Sports
were
are
in
big.
cross country and track.
Oh, okay.
Both of them.
Okay. Wow. And they generally liked school? For the most part?
Yeah, in general, they
Okay.
got along and they enjoyed the school years.
Were there a lot of things for kids to do, like parks and recreation, whatnot, over the years?
During the winter, most of the kids went, sledding and ice skating.
Oh, okay.
And outdoor ice skating rink, and then they built the new one down at indoor ice skating rink down at Loudy, Simpson Park.
Oh, that's still there?
That's still there.
Oh.
It's a nice rink there. But they had an outdoor rink as well,
Hmm.
and they did spend a lot of time sledding.
Okay. Interesting.
And then they had the city pool was already here.
Oh, right.
They've expanded it and made it a real nice complex, but
Mhm.
it was down there too. So they had the pool.
What about the and maybe this isn't really for kids, but the golf course? Was that already here when you?
That was already here. That was established.
Was it 9 holes when you came? Do you
It
know?
was 18 holes.
It was 18 holes
when
in
we
the
moved
80s.
here
Okay.
in 1980.
It was already expanded.
It was already expanded.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
The kids would go down to the river, in the summer. We have a creek on our property, so our kids went down to the
Oh,
creek.
yeah.
They played out on the property. We have 25 acres here.
It's a really nice view, by the way.
They played out on the property a lot.
Okay.
That's how they spent their time.
Right, right. And along with the town and business and everything, how has the community changed, in your opinion?
I don't think it's really changed that much.
Really? Okay.
Not really.
Just aside from, like, I don't mean the population, I mean their...
The attitude?
Yeah, there you go.
It's about the same.
Okay. Still friendly,
Definitely.
but a little bigger.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a whole lot bigger from when the boom was here.
Right.
We had a lot of construction people here.
Has there been a town-wide bust since that boom?
When construction left?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about it. It's pretty stable.
Oh, okay.
I mean, all
Was
these
really-
construction people left.
Right.
But I don't think it really affected, I don't know, maybe it affected the economy, but
Not
not that I
some
could
little ups
see.
and downs.
Yeah, that's about it.
Not too bad.
No.
Okay.
Because you have your mines,
Right.
coal mines, and the power plant, and that's just, that makes things pretty stable.
Right.
Because those are your higher paying wages.
Right. Right.
So I don't think there's been really a bust.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, You might have a few down times, but
Right.
I don't think, not that it's affected me anyway.
Right, right. Have you seen the demographics of Craig change over the years?
The only thing that I've seen is, there's a few blacks in town now,
Okay.
but that's about it.
Oh, okay.
There's always been your Hispanics here.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they've kind of changed as far as how many have been here and how many haven't.
Right. But still not that much.
No, not that much change.
An unchanging place.
No.
That's interesting. Do you have any questions?
No, you covered it all.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. So, just along with all this general stuff, how, if you can speak about this at all, just, the area around Craig, the other towns and anything, have you seen them expand, them be affected? Steamboat.
Springs has expanded a bunch.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember how big just ballpark?
I'm guessing when we moved here in 1980, it was about half to two-thirds the size it is now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's
really grown.
It's really expanded.
Uh-huh.
It's really, but it hasn't really affected Craig,
Right.
Steamboat has expanded.
I understand now it's about the same size as Craig now.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe a little bigger or smaller. They said the population out there is about the same. I've heard. I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. But see, that's mostly all tourists.
Right.
All your, condos.
Right.
Condos and restaurants.
Right. That's interesting.
But steamboats. I bet steamboats since we moved here has doubled.
Wow. I'm gonna write that down too. Steamboat doubling, huh? And then the last thing is, owning property in this much land. How has that experience been for you?
I've enjoyed it.
Enjoyed it.
I've done a lot of work on the place.
Out here, it's been okay.
Yeah, I loved it. We both love it.
Okay. Not any real property owning challenges or anything.
No.
Wow.
No.
It's really excellent. Did you move directly to this?
No, we rented two different places.
Oh, okay.
We rented in town, and we rented. You ever been to Loudy Simpson Park?
Right. Well, buy it. Yeah.
Okay. Just before you go over the bridge,
Mm-hmm.
there's a ranch on the left there.
Okay.
We lived there for a while too.
I'll look for it then.
Yeah.
I'll be more aware of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's two houses. We lived in the house in the back.
Okay.
Then we lived right down from this middle school
Mm-hmm.
on Tucker Street.
Oh, back down the road.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right.
No, it's been a good town to raise kids in and everything.
Right. That's good. Do your children still live locally?
Oh, I have one daughter that lives here,
Oh, okay.
and the other one lives down in New Mexico.
Oh, okay. Not too far. All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.